The Attorney General is wrong this time on open grazing. Well, before one can graze, he must be a cattle rearer or a herdsman. The herdsman would have to enter another person's land. If the herdsman is grazing on his own land, it does not implicate any legal, safety, or economic issues because the land belongs to him. But when he goes upon another man's land to graze without permission or some leave and license, he commits trespass, civil and criminal trespass to boot. Days ago, Abubakar Malami, SAN, the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, granted an interview to Channels Television in which he faulted Southern governors' ban on open grazing. The AGF is wrong, Southern governors are right, and here is why. Before one can graze, he must be a cattle rearer or a herdsman. The herdsman would have to enter another person's land. If the herdsman is grazing on his own land, it does not implicate any legal or safety economic issues because the land belongs to him. But when it comes to grazing in another man's land without permission or some leave and license, he commits trespass, civil and criminal trespass to boot, which means if he wants to graze, he should rather secure a land for himself. But in otherwise, if he tries to graze without having a land, he definitely trespasses to another man's land. That's illegal. That is why the Southern governors deem it fit to ban open grazing so that there won't be chaos, which it has already caused. Conversely, there is no written law in Nigeria that permits herders to enter into another man's land without the owner's permission. Not even the Nigerian Constitution cited Malami. The part of the Constitution he relied on allows freedom of movement of persons, not animals, whether goats, pigs, or cattle, and such freedom must be exercised in a peaceful and legal manner, not by force, not by trespass, and not by terror. Most people think that trespass is only a civil wrong in which you go to a civil court to claim monetary damages and have the trespasser expelled from your property through a civil court order. It is much more than that. In northern Nigeria, where the Attorney General and these herdsmen hail from, Section 342 of the Penal Code applicable to northern Nigeria provides that whoever enters into or upon property in the possession of another with intent to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult, or annoy a person is in possession of that property or having lawfully entered into or upon that property unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate, insult, or annoy such person or with intent to commit an offense is said to commit criminal trespass. Open grazing intimidates, insults, and annoys, and in this era it terrorizes, kills, and destroys properties. What more do you need before understanding that it's a crime in all its ramifications? Criminal trespass is punishable by arrest, arraignment, prosecution, and imprisonment. Again, this is northern Nigeria where these herders hail from. There are other laws of Nigeria that border on assault, manslaughter, murder, malicious destruction of property, disorderly conduct, breach of the peace and laws on land use that are violated whenever herdsmen graze without permission and oftentimes with violence. So without any new law banning open grazing, southern governors can assert their authority under these extant laws, including particularly under Section 1 of the Land Use Act, which provides that subject to the provisions of this act, all land comprised in the territory of each state in the federation are hereby vested in the governor of that state. Additionally, AGF Malami appears to be unaware of the highly celebrated 1969 ruling by Justice Adewale Thompson that the ruling was never set aside or varied makes it part of the laws of Nigeria when it comes to open grazing. It's pertinent to state that the ruling was made in the context of the farmer-elder conflict of that era. That is what we used to have then. What we have now is either terrorism that requires new measures that should be more drastic than the purport of that ruling. In the ruling, Adewale's court held that it is that custom of the Fulani to move cattle from place to place and graze openly. The judge ruled that if that is the custom, it is a bad one because it is against public policy, that the custom has the tendency to lead to breach of law and order and unconscionable destruction of another's property. You might add that in this day and age, it has gone from mere destruction of property to destruction of life. That judgment is sound because it is consistent with the common law of Nigeria that says that any custom that is against public policy shall be set aside. A custom is not cast in stone. Nigerian laws allow and only allow good customs. Bad customs like killing of twins are no longer allowed. In the same vein, bad customs like open grazing that destroys properties and human lives should be banned. That something is a custom does not automatically make it legal. Therefore, that open grazing is customary to the Fulani does not make it legal or permissible, especially if it comes with the prospect of criminal trespass or terror. And in comparison to the spare parts dealers Malami mentioned, he forgot that they rent their shops and they conduct their businesses and does not trespass or violate or rape or commit crime. Further, as a northerner and a high-ranking government official with access to intelligence, AGF Malami should not pretend that he doesn't know that a significant number of these herdsmen are foreigners. Some notable northern leaders, including the presidency, have publicly confirmed as such. On this score, did AGF Malami consider what happens to Nigeria's sovereignty when he argued that banning open grazing is unconstitutional? Is he suggesting that foreigners now have more constitutional rights than Nigerians, especially southern Nigerians? Not just that, these foreign herdsmen come into Nigeria with a swag to graze on Nigeria land without permission, and they are ever prepared to kill their host if he dares resist such brazen criminal trespass. Let me add my own. Do they even have paper? Do they have a correct paper? It's just like you want to venture into US to just start, how do you want to even go if you don't have papers, if you don't have permits, or if you don't have visa? How do you even go, let alone doing business and doing it illegally or trespassing? Well, nobody dares do that. You understand? And the federal government does nothing to check it. But once the herders get in trouble, such as now with southern governors, the same federal government jumps to their defense as AGF Malami just did. He's a foolish man. That's unfair because you are stoking a situation where states, especially southern states, will be propelled to resort to self-help, which is exactly what southern governors have done by banning open grazing. Well, it has been said well. Well, there's nothing to deduce, there's nothing to add. But in case you want to buttress the point, you can hit the comment section. Thank you for listening.